working with the Taylors again, and intriguingly enough, Mother asked me at lunchtime today if we could make Poppyseed Torte tonight, and I thought absolutely, because I know a lot of people want to see how it's made and everybody always enjoys it. So tonight we are going to make our famous Poppyseed Torte.
This is an old family recipe that is a custard-based Poppyseed Torte. And we are going to start with, we need to scald 4 cups of milk. And we do this all in a double boiler so that the milk does not stick onto the bottom of the pot. So as you can see, there's 2 pot handles, because the bottom one we have the water in to boil that will heat the milk inside. And while that is heating up, we need to add 1 tablespoon of butter to that. To the milk, that melts along with it. And then we're going to make our crust while we're waiting for that to heat up. I normally never measure, however I'm going to attempt to do that tonight.
Smidgen of this and a smidgen of that.
I'm going to cheat tonight, and I'm going to actually use the cracker crumbs. Normally I do all my own grinding. So we're going to start with about 1 cup of cracker crumbs. We're going to add approximately just a little shy of a 1/3 cup of sugar and about a 1/2 stick of melted butter.
That looks pretty sticky.
So then we want to be able to pat that into this 8x8 square pan. You can put this in a little larger pan and then you get a thinner layer of your custard. We like a little thicker layer of our custard. So we're just going to put it into a smaller pan. Just going to pack it down.
As a young child, I really loved eating the leftover crumbs and butter mixture. That was always our favorite.
We'd always make extra so they could eat the leftovers.
I always had to get at it before Andy did.
Alright, and as you can see, there's a few left in there yet, and that we'll use just to put on top of the Poppyseed Torte after a while. Alright, so again, while that's cooking, we're going to then put together our eggs. So the recipe calls for 4 regular eggs. However, oftentimes after we make angel food cake, we also have egg yolks left, so you can also make this with just the egg yolks. So tonight I have egg yolks, and we're going to do it with just the egg yolks. So I have approximately about 9 egg yolks that we're going to start with.
Did you make angel food cake already?
We did make angel food cake, but there's none left.
I wonder who ate it all.
Grandma celebrated her 79th birthday, and that's been the traditional birthday cake in our house. So we had to make that for her birthday. And then we're gonna add 3/4 cup of sugar to this. And you know, I tell you how I don't measure because I have a I have a 1/3 cup. So it's gonna be 2 of those and a smidgen.
That's half the fun of baking.
Alright. And the one thing that this needs is heaping tablespoons of cornstarch. You do not need to be shy with the cornstarch. And it says 5 to 6. And the interesting part is you don't really know if you need 5 or 6 until you're almost done, and then it's too late to add it. So I will always do 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That was great to know I can still count. Alright, now we're going to mix that up together. And you notice how sticky and awful that is to work with? The recipe calls for 5 cups of milk. We only put 4 cups in there because we're going to add 1 cup now.
This is like a high protein dessert, right?
The egg yolks.
Whoever thought you could get protein from dessert?
Alright, so now we sit and wait for the milk to get to the temperature of scalding, and that is about 180 degrees.
It's been about 10 minutes now that our milk has been scalding, and we're going to check the temperature.
So it is plenty warm. It is actually up to over 200 degrees already. So we're past the scalding part, which is good. So we can add our mixture. This is the eggs and sugar and milk and cornstarch. As you can see, the pot gets pretty full. And because of the cornstarch in here, now is when you have to stir until it gets to the thickness that you need it to be. And we're gonna tell you what that is once we get there.
Yeah. I remember making this one time with my grandma. We were standing over the stove, and my Aunt Chris called, and Grandma and her are chit-chatting because it's taken 10-15 minutes to get up to temperature. And I was watching it and watching it and watching it, and all of a sudden I said, "Grandma, I think it's ready," and all of a sudden Grandma goes, "Okay, Christine, I gotta go. Poppyseed's ready to go." So it was fun little family humor with making all of this, and I'm sure my aunt remembers that.
So as you can see, there's a little thickening happening at the bottom already. And that's why you have to continuously stir this.
You don't want it to burn onto the bottom.
Well, you don't want that to get over thick while your top then stays thin. It needs to be balanced. have tried to do this in the microwave as well already. And the key there, if you want to do it in the microwave, is not cooking it on full power and cooking it at a lower, like about a 2/3 to 3/4 power. And then you really do need to pay attention to how often you need to stir. You might, first of all, only need to stir every minute, minute and a half, but as it continues to thicken, you might have to start stirring about every 30 minutes when you're doing it in the microwave. I'm sorry, 30 seconds, not 30 minutes. Again, you can see it's starting to thicken.
What temperature do you have the stove on?
So my temperature gauge runs from low to high with a 2 to 8 and not, or actually 1 to 9, and I have it on 9. It's getting some nice little chunks, so that's a good thing.
Starting to coagulate.
Yep. Now I made a mess. That's what happens when you have a pot that's not big enough. I should have remembered how long this took, so I could have planned a few jokes in between. I had a chicken once that could count its own eggs. It was a math of a chicken.
Now everybody knows where I get my corny egg teacher jokes.
Oh, now you can tell it's getting nice and thick.
What did the mama cow say to the baby cow at night? It's past your bedtime.
So this is getting really a nice texture now. And whoever is stirring this right now is doing an excellent job because there's no lumps in here. But as this thickens like this, I think you can see why it's difficult to add cornstarch later on in the process. If you need it to be a little thicker. But I think it's pretty good right now. We're going to take it off the stove. I'm only going to take the top part off, but we're going to let the boiling water sit there. A little humidity in the house doesn't hurt anybody. And the first thing we're going to do is stir in 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Again, that stirring thing is a little tricky with a very full pot. Without the vanilla, I will tell you it's fairly bland. before I put the poppy seed in, I'm going to pour out 2 small containers. My husband considers this poor man's creme brulee. As you can see, this is a fairly difficult task. You don't want your whole pot over dirty, which mine just got dirty. Alright. I've never measured poppy seeds in my life, but to help you out, I'm going to try that and see how it works out tonight. So this is 1 tablespoon. So I'm going to start with 2 tablespoons of poppy seed. My recipe doesn't tell you how much poppy seed either. It says poppy seed to taste. Some people like it. Some people think poppy seeds are a little bitter. So if you are one of those people, you maybe don't want as many poppy seeds. But I think this looks like a pretty good ration of poppy seeds to the custard. And then we're going to pour it in the pan. And if you like warm custard, you might not want to clean the pan real well, because then you can do that on the side.
Sounds like a plan to me, Mom.
So, and now what we do is we let it cool to room temperature before we put it in the refrigerator. And then we can have it for breakfast tomorrow. And that's how it's done.
Thank you for listening to another Baking with the Taylors. Hope you all have a great night.